Hey guys, what's poppin'? It's your boy BearyBonka, and today we have a special video. We're going to be going over my top 5 favorite little Photoshop hacks slash just tips that I would recommend to beginners and even advanced people who've been doing it for a couple of years, but typically more to the beginner side. And so yeah, I'm just going to get into it, and I'm going to have a couple honorable mentions just going into it, which aren't actually Photoshop related things. So the first one would be Unsplash, which is a great website to grab some free source images. Absolutely love this website. I've been using it for a while to grab source images for projects, compositions, and yeah, that's pretty much my first honorable mention. So another honorable mention as well is compressor.io. Absolutely love this website. It's used to compress images, I think up to a certain size, but you can actually just see the before and after, and most times you can barely notice a difference. I love using this for YouTube thumbnails. You can easily compress stuff, and it's great for uploading to media outlets like Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff, because it makes the image nice and small and compressed. So let's just get into it. So number one, I think the most important thing to learn is layer mask. Layer masks are really important instead of just going in. So let's go into my cyber portal, which you haven't seen in the video, link in the top right, go check it out. So layer masks are really important. So like an example would be, I have this gradient right here, and I put a layer mask onto it, which if I disable or delete, you'll see it just goes to the entire image. But it just took a layer mask, and I inverted it, and I took a white brush, which if you just use a brush tool, you can paint back the areas that you want. So it's not like an eraser where you'd actually go onto the physical layer and remove. And this is great because it works also on adjustment layers, which is really hard to get like a rasterized version of. So adjustment layers are obviously adjustment layers. You can't really rasterize them without rasterizing the whole image. Yeah, pretty much that's it. Layer masks, super useful. Learn to love them and learn all the little quirks. It's great. So number 2 would also kind of go in line with layer masking, and that's learning the pen tool. And I personally have been doing Photoshop for probably 4 to 5 years, and I just recently, within maybe the last year and a half, started to like work with the pen tool. Because back then I would just be like, nah, fuck the pen tool, kind of confusing, let me just go in Illustrator, and then I would rage at Illustrator because, you know, Illustrator's annoying. But yeah, pen tool is really important stuff. It's really helpful to get some nice clean lines, especially for setting up layer masks, because instead of using just pixels, it uses math and geometry to calculate the lines instead of saying, hey, this pixel is this. Instead it uses geometry, which is really cool. My third thing is I recommend honestly getting packs. I know people say like don't use pre-generated stuff, but I actually love some packs. Oh, just let me set up a new adjustment layer for a gradient, and I have a bunch of gradient well, I used to have, but I reinstalled Windows recently, but that's whatever. But yeah, I used to have a lot of gradient packs, and they're super useful because there'll be a lot of really cool colors with just a beautiful gradient, and there's a lot of fun to throw over images, and it can give a lot of depth. Just like I did here, I used a gradient mask and I put a layer mask on top of it just to give it a bit of a glow and change the color a tad bit of the portal to give it that vibrance and that pop that I wanted. Fourth, I would also recommend is another sort of pack related things, and that's brushes. I know people are like, why would I need brushes? Just this big fat brush that's a pain in the ass is just perfect. But honestly, I'd recommend getting brushes, and my tip for getting good brushes is I recommend don't get a big pack of like 100 brushes, because once you get 100 brushes, you're going to be searching, because you can't really search by name. You might be able to, but I'm just kind of lazy. I just kind of have my small packs where I know where everything is. So I recommend getting a pack of maybe like 10 to 15 brushes for a certain topic. So you can open up your brush thing, your brush little category, and see I have like my smoke brushes, my water brushes, my demo brushes, my stitches, glitch effects, and all those things. So they're all organized in a way where I can quickly find what I need. So say I need a smoke brush real quick, I can open up the smoke brush pack. Or say I need some foliage, I have a foliage pack that I used to have, I don't know where it went. So yeah, I absolutely love packs for brushes. Super useful, just getting those quick little details, especially for background things like foliage and trees, instead of dragging in trees off of Google or Unsplashed. Oh, and before I go on, one thing I absolutely love about brushes is you can change the angle of the brush, and you can give it some really cool depth. And you can also use X, which I'm using here, to switch my foreground and background color. You can create these really cool shadows, and I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it to create some quick shadows, which I did create here with the feet. If you want to see how I did that, go click on my previous video. And finally, I would just recommend learning how to color grade. Color grading is so important, and you don't need Lightroom for this. Photoshop has a great and absolutely fantastic color grading section. Either you can use adjustment layers, gradients, all that stuff. But my favorite by far is camera raw filters. There isn't a lot of tutorials, like great tutorials on camera raw filters, and I'm definitely not going to be making one anytime soon because I'm not super great at it, but I just want to put it out there. Camera raw filters are absolutely beautiful. As you can see right here, the camera raw filter just absolutely gives it that mood and that depth that I was looking for, because right here it looks very plain. It does look good, but if you add it here, it definitely gives it that pop, gives it that dark, super dark and contrasty look, which I was looking for in this image. And it's just beautiful because you can change the colors that you want. And I would also recommend this on a smart object, because if you put it to a smart object, it's a lot easier to move these smart filters because you can quickly toggle them on and off as well. So say like you want this, and then on top of it you want to do like a gallery field blur for some reason. I don't know. But you put that there, then you can actually tweak it. So you want to turn off the smart filters, you can turn all of them off, or say you just want to turn off just the camera raw filter and just keep the blur, you can do that. Or the other way around, you can get rid of the blur and keep the camera raw filter. So anyway, I didn't want to keep it too long. These are my absolutely favorite little tips and tricks that I've learned throughout the years, and just little tips, mostly to beginners, because beginning is really hard, especially you don't know where to go, what to find, and little tips that will definitely improve your work and your efficiency as a whole, which just makes Photoshop as a whole a lot more fun to deal with. Instead of looking around being like, oh shoot, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to find. It's just great. It makes everything a lot easier, simpler, and just everything. It's just great. I absolutely love it. So yeah, that is pretty much all I have. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did make it this far, please pop a like and subscribe if you're new around here. And comment down below what you want me to see next. And I also have an idea for a video where I merge different animals together. So put some comments down below of what animals you would like to see merge together. So yep, thank you guys so much for watching, and see ya.